When I was younger, I told you guys, when I was younger, I literally was depressed all the time. I hated my life. I hated my job. I hated everything about it. Everything in my life was very stressful or lonely, and I really just didn't like myself. And I would drink myself to sleep every night because I hated myself in my life, you know. It was fucked up. It was a really fucked up time of my life. I was out to destroy myself at some points, you know. I really just didn't give a fuck what I did to my body. That was also the time of my life I was eating incredibly unhealthy. You know, constantly didn't give a shit about anything, really. At one point in my life, I didn't think I was gonna be past the age of like 34. Seriously. I was at the bottom, the absolute lowest rung of my life I could ever be. And I was depressed and my life was in shambles, you know. I told you guys I used to drink too much because I was depressed about, I'd say a little over 10 years ago. I was in a real bad part of my life and I became basically kind of an alcoholic where every night I was drinking an insane amount of liquor. And it became to the point where like that was how I like relaxed at night, as I would drink every night a ton of liquor and just like knock myself out because I was so depressed. I didn't feel good about my life or nothing, and that's how I basically got through it, you know. Because what you got to understand is, although you might say, oh, it's so good, right? He didn't have any financial responsibilities, he could do whatever he wanted. Yeah, but I was single and I was kind of depressed and didn't like my life, you know, at that time. At the time, because really I didn't have anything else positive in my life. I'm just being honest. I quit competitive Street Fighter. I was trying to get into console video games and I was enjoying myself, but I didn't really see my life going anywhere at that point. Like, I felt like my job was going to end up being a dead-end job where I was going to be mistreated because I was being mistreated at the time. I just didn't have much going for me. I drank way too much back then. I was depressed. So you might say, oh, do you reminisce about your early days as a YouTuber? Well, yeah, I remember making a ton of videos in my condo, and I also remember being fucking miserable. Like, honestly, when I started on YouTube, it was a hobby, and I had an office job, and the office job was mistreating me. It was basically overworking me, underpaying me. I was single. I was unhappy with my life, where it was. I was very depressed at the time. So when I started on YouTube, this was my creative outlet, and quite frankly, it made me feel a lot better about myself. I was supposed to be playing the game?
We'll end the stream in a second. This is the last chance for Doomer Hour, I guess. If anyone has something Doomer to say. Thoughts on some saying that JQ can be discredited by saying whites not breeding is what would kill them off, not anti-white propaganda. But anti-white propaganda leads to them not breeding. Why do you think people are not breeding? I mean, anti-white propaganda is causing people to not breed, though. Are they really trying to imply that they're completely disconnected? Because they're absolutely not. What do I think is the best modern era Sonic game? Yeah, I agree. It's Generations, yep. I wish I could say one of the Ratchet and Clanks. Well, I don't know. Crack in Time. I'll have to play Crack in Time again. I'll throw Crack in Time up there. It was almost as good as the PS2 ones. Funny, I'm noticing games I never got around to playing on here, like Catherine, Enchanted Arms, probably 2 or 3 more on here I never played. I wanna play God of War 3 again, but I guess I'll throw it up here. I haven't played God of War 3 in over a decade. There was one part of me that I'm like, do I grab Metal Gear Solid 4? And no, I don't, if I'm being honest. It's funny, I own so many, but if I have to choose favorites, I guess it's only down to, and this is PS3 exclusives, it's down to God of War 3, Ratchet and Clank, Future Crack in Time, Infamous 2, and Valkyria Chronicles. I guess that's the top 4. I can't pick, there's no way I'm picking Uncharted or Last of Us. They just haven't, I mean, you can never play those again. You play them one time and then you've experienced the whole fucking game forever. The novelty is worn off completely. This dude absolutely obsessed with your appearance like a roasty in chat. Seems to be multiple of those. I can't tell if it's biological women or, well, I think there's at least a couple biological women. There's probably some gay men. There was more openly gay dudes before. I think chat scared some of them off. This is funny. There's my guts figure. It's over here now. I just have the DBC ones behind me, but there you go. I still got This is probably the most expensive figure I bought. It's not too bad though. It's $100. Almost all the ones I buy are in the $50 to $70 range. I remember my good friend in middle school who basically I had a big falling out with him at the end of high school. But long story short, my friend who was a tall, lanky dude who I've told this story before. Basically, long story short, if you're you should never have a friend who is like basically more attractive than you in every way. Never hang out with somebody like that. That's never good. That's just a recipe for failure. But I don't know. We were both edgelord, semi-autists, and I don't know. He definitely showed me how dangerous ADHD medication is, because he just became like a fucking psychopath whenever he took his meds. But it's because you might turn gay. I don't know if ADHD meds turn you gay, but don't hang out with someone who's more attractive than you. I mean, feel free. Girls already found this out. Women have found this out for thousands of years, that the attractive woman hangs around all the ugly ones so that she looks that much better in comparison. It turns out the same can apply to men as well. So either way, the point is, despite us both being like the edgy outcasts, he would get the female attention, whereas many women did not like me. There's some girl in art class who was absolutely smitten with him. I remember this. And he thought she was like a crazy bitch, because she was. She was just a cunt, straight up. Just an asshole to me for no reason. Because, women, that's how they treat people that they think are ugly, She confused, much like a lot of women do, she confused being an asshole with being funny. Those certainly are not the same. Though, I don't know, in this day and age, being an asshole can be funny on its own. But typically only if you're a man. But, yeah, it was, I'm not gonna lie, I did resent him on some level, which is why, at some point, I'm like, I don't know, I'm sure it was really gay. I wrote like some really long gay text where I'm just like, you're a toxic asshole and I just don't want to fucking, hang out with you anymore, because, I can't remember if I actually named his medicine or not. I might have brought up his ADHD meds, where it's like, when you take your meds, you're just like a dickhead, and it's like, I don't know, it's just not worth it to be your friend or something. Please tell me you told her your friend isn't into her. I don't think I did. No. I was a semi-nice guy for a while, for a long time. I was just very shy. But again, eventually you have enough negative social experiences that you turn into me. Friend of the goatee should help. And there's way too many gay dudes in chat. One of these days I should just do a poll. How many of you are gay? And I will have the scope of gay as broad as humanly possible. Because I swear, like, all you guys who want to get are like, you should do this to make yourself look more attractive. It's like, that ship has long sailed. You're telling a guy who's basically a fucking shut-in. And people have already, made fun of my appearance plenty of times online. Not that it bothers me, because I've seen the people who tell me that, and they most of them happen to be uglier than me. They could be a coincidence. But yeah, again, never fall for this scam that like ugly people are nice on the inside. No, a lot of cases ugly people have a shit ton of negative experiences, and so they became jaded assholes of their own variety, but then they'll punch to their own fellow sufferers because they want to be accepted by the normies, right? It's kind of like how Redditors will call people incels when they by definition are incels, because they just want to be with the in group, and they have to redefine what incel is so that they're not, a loser virgin, which is basically the whole point of it. Anyway, the whole looks thing, I don't fucking care about that. I was just telling, we wanted Doomer Hour, well, I was, sort of half-assing a story there. But I don't know, like, sometimes I do think about the friends I used to have, and it's just kind of sad that I feel like friendships, I've never had a friendship end amicably, and obviously I think you could come to the logical conclusion that, well, if you never, I'm the asshole. I'm beating around the bush here, but you know what I mean? Like, I'm basically trying to say I'm the asshole because, well, I just never, I hear stories, especially boomers, talking about how, when I graduated high school or college, I just stopped talking to my friends. It's like, okay, yeah, that's probably the normal experience. But even the times I have done that, it was forced on my end. Like, it wasn't a natural, oh, we just kind of stopped talking. No, I basically just ghost the motherfucker, because I'm just like, I'm done with you. I'm done with you. I will go back to my solitude. That's how I've always been.
Literally me.
I'm trying to think of, like, fitting music for this while I'm doing this, because I feel like doing it in silence is not appropriate. I need sad music. Whatever. Oh, I'm playing the 16-bit Guts theme again. All of you wannabe fans who want me to be gay are just, it's not funny, okay? That might have been funny 20 years ago, but in this day and age, being like, oh my god, a man was friends with another man, that must mean you're gay. You're a fucking teenage girl if you think that. You're a fucking pathetic, subhuman teenage girl. Ever had to pretend enjoying the company of a friend? Oh yeah, whenever, you know, there were times where my mother wanted to invite my more acquaintance-ish friends to my birthdays, and I'm just like, I don't know, I guess I never really cared about my birthday that much. To this day, my dad wants to, like, get me shit for my birthday or Christmas, and I'm just like, man, I'm fucking 28 now, I don't even give a shit. My mom actually is sort of on my side on that, at least into adulthood. But I don't know, even as a kid, I was just like, you know what I want for my birthday? I want to be left the fuck alone. If everyone could leave me alone, that'd be a good birthday present. My mom flirted with my friends, bro. That sounds fucking sad and brutal. That's brutal. Isn't 16-bit copyrighted too? No. No. Never go to a mall with exactly one male friend. That sort of sounds like a roundabout advice of what I was saying. I'm just saying, like, if you're a fucking, like, nerd loser, dude, do not hang out with, like, you know, a Chad-esque, which I wouldn't even call this guy a Chad. He was, I don't know, he was tall and skinny, which, that seems to just be the taste of young girls. So, I don't know. I didn't know any better. I didn't understand women at all until, shit, probably my 20s. Yeah, probably my 20s. Because again, like, all my life, all of us really have been fed propaganda about the nature of women. But hanging with other nerds didn't help me in high school, lol. Well, yeah, if you're all, like, nerd losers, of course. But all I'm saying is, like, you can afford, you know, it's just, I'm basically just saying incel shit now, 100%. But, basically, Chad can act autistic, and it'll be mysterious and cute. But, you know, if an ugly person does it, then you're a freak, right? But this is nature. I realized the discrepancy between what I was taught and saw from women pretty early on. That's good. I feel like for a lot of people, that's not the case, unfortunately. Redditors still won't to this day. Constantine the Great, do you have a girlfriend, assumingly isn't cheating on you, or a wife and kids who isn't cheating on you? While you're reading the Bible, she's heading. Does she ever go out with her girlfriends without you? I'm just saying, man. It's, yeah, you're reading the Bible while she's deep throating cock. Alright, I'm not gonna say every woman's like that, but whenever people say shit like that, it's like, I sure hope your life is clean. Your situation is Tro's okay. Every one of you writing gay fantasies, time out for the rest of the stream. Fucking god, you guys. The honestly, the gayest thing that men do is pretending that, like, men aren't more attractive than them. It's just like, okay, you're telling me Chris Hemsworth isn't better looking than you. You're telling me that fucking Henry Cavill isn't better looking than you. But you'll be like, oh no, of course they are. Okay. So people you knew were better looking than you, right? Right? This is basic like 90 IQ logic we can go by here. But no, you guys think it's funny to be like, you're gay, so no, gay, it's a dark man, gay. No, you're a retard, and I would kill you for sport if it was legal in Minecraft. Yeah, it's not 2010 anymore. Exactly. That stopped being funny. You know, that stopped being funny when, you know, kids started getting their I keep saying dicks chopped off. People are going to think I'm serious. I know that children aren't being literally castrated in mass, but hormone blockers is basically the same thing. Yeah, I know men don't care about other people's looks. Why do you think there's so many people confused why they're virgins at like 30? It's like, yeah, I mean, maybe if you understood how the attraction worked, you wouldn't be so confused. But I don't know, there's many men who would rather just pretend that their life situation is just random chance, or, you know, it's somehow not their fault or whatever, or, you know, it's definitely not anything to do with genetics. Yeah, I mean, choose to be ignorant, that's fine, but I have no sympathy for you, that's for sure. Yeah, I've seen plenty of Rehab Rooms videos. I do think he has a bit of a chip on his shoulder when it comes to white people, which is kind of cringe. I mean, there's definitely some truth to JBW, but to me, I don't really care about the incel/volcel dichotomy. What I care about is, you know, it's kind of complicated. I guess the point is, I would rather, you know, die alone than be married to an ugly woman or something, you know? And that's just how I am. In Too Deep, thanks $5. How many gay jokes can your friend make before it starts getting, weird? The amount that chat's making right now. Where it's like, yeah, you guys gotta stop touching your penis for like 3 months, and then maybe you'll be repulsed by the gay shit you're saying. But, no. They think it's funny. Again, like it's 2010, like a different guy said. I watched a video the other day with a Japanese guy saying to come and date hikikomori chicks. I think there's a reason why any woman would be a shut-in like that. She's gotta be mentally unstable. I know people, I've seen some people say something like, why don't the incels and femcels just date each other? Well, problem number one, there's at least 10 times as many incels as there are femcels. Problem two, the women are only femcels because they have impossibly high standards, which I unironically read someone who tried to say both men, it's both the incels and the femcels. No. It's not, honestly, and again, we've had this conversation before, chat didn't completely agree with me. But you have to remember, they've done the genetic data. I'm not phrasing this correctly, but basically, the majority of men did not pass on their genes like 1,000 years ago or something. It might have even been a few hundred years ago. I don't remember when they, like, the time periods they found out the genetic data, right? And I'm not even going to go into the implications of that. But the point is, most men did not pass on their genes to the next generation. So there's this huge deal being made out of, like, inceldom or whatever. It doesn't even have to be that. It could literally just be like people not having kids, period, right? When this has actually been fairly normal until modern society. Modern society has allowed monogamy, right? And monogamy was basically an extremely good thing for men. You know, for women, whatever. It's debatable. Don't care. It's an excellent thing for men and for society. And that is starting to break down now, and things are going to head back to where they were before, with men not passing on their genes again. But it seems like, again, we have to tell ourselves these lies about what humans are really like. So, you know, people don't want to accept that human beings are still just animals after all this time. We're no better. I mean, we try to be better than the tigers that devours the whatever. I don't know, it's just fucking, again, I'm too tired for analogies. You get the point. You think we're better than all these other predators or whatever, animal. Yeah, my brain's so fried. I'm gonna end the stream in 10 minutes. Hold on. Bluffle Nugget, thanks $2. Should the video game industry be regulated by the government? Not our government, that's for sure. Our government wants us dead. I mean, they're trying to start another war. You've seen, I mean, at least I know I've seen them, and I know you guys watch some of the same news sources I do. How many European countries are preparing for World War III, essentially? They want to kill the white men so that they can be replaced by the new sheep people. You know, depends on which country is the sheep people. But, you know, I don't want to say the code words, or YouTube's going to put the Wikipedia thing and probably flag my channel. But they want to, you know, start things over. There you go. I need to save more sad video game music. Maybe I'll create a folder just for sad game music. I don't think this one's sad, but fuck it. Ironically, most white guys aren't joining up for World War III. If they ask, they'll have to rely on trans or gays or women instead. It'll be interesting to see if they try and draft Zoomers. I feel like that's not going to go well. Why do people... Is my channel just the I shout my shitty opinion for attention channel? I mean, I know there's a lot of vermin, as in V users, who come here, so I guess that checks out. But, I don't know. I'm just tired of reading contrarian opinions. I'm in a hell of my own making. I know it. I'm a product of my environment. Again, the Matthew effect. That's perfect terminology for it. Yep. Thinking Ape is definitely right about that shit. Negative experiences compound on negative experiences compound on negative experiences, until you get a shell of a human being, a synthetic man, if you will. At least my hell keeps dino nugs on the table. Yep. Yeah, at least I can afford to live in a pod and eat the bugs, guys. I'll buy one of those Amazon store like fucking shipping container houses, and I'll start eating bugs. That'll be good. Why did I drink coffee? Why? Could have been asleep. I do like the Doomer shit, though. I'm glad I stopped deleting it, because, I don't know. It feels good. It feels good to get the shit out, because my family got more than tired of hearing it over the years, and did nothing about it, and didn't make it better in any way, except send me to therapy a million times. I'm sure it would have worked the 1,000,001st time. Don't always like Doomer shit. Makes me depressed. Well, you know, this is just me. It's just literally me all the time. I mean, not really, but I don't know. You know, there's a reason why I kept mentioning that the average lifespan of a YouTuber is 5 years. I can see it. That's about the amount of time that it takes for someone to either get banned, to get some horrible shit exposed about them, like them being like a pedo or something, or they just get burnout, or they become irrelevant. There's so many factors. Sell merch, become rich and free. More money would not solve my problems. Absolutely wouldn't. See, I already make decent money doing this. I mean, I'm not rich by any stretch. Definitely not. But I make decent money. It's not about the money. I don't care about the money. Is my burnout from video making, shit games, streaming, or all the above? I actually like streaming. Video making, I'm not that burnout. I mean, I go back and forth. I've managed to avoid burnout over the past like 4 or 5 months. Honestly, the burnout is more just the burnout from my life situation. Why don't I have YouTube memberships? Oh yeah, I was gonna turn those on because Memology told me to. Yeah, I probably will. But I am very wary of financial streams when it comes to YouTube. Revenue streams. That's what I meant to say. Because, I don't know. I just don't want it to ever seem like it's about the money, because I just don't care about money. Here's Taylor, thanks $5. The worst death of the YouTuber is the Fizzlot effect. 300,000 subs, but only 60 people watching the streams. I'm assuming you mean someone specific, given those numbers. But yeah, that does happen. Me, I'm being kept alive by a pretty faithful audience, at least percentage-wise, certainly above average. But it being much harder to get into the algorithm does, you know, it obviously hurt my growth quite a bit, but I'm doing pretty good, all things considered. Could be worse. Some people, like, after a certain point, you know a channel's dying when it is actively losing subscribers and there's no controversy, you know? That's when the channel's really dead if you lose subs. There's always people saying go on this podcast. You guys should know me by now. I don't contact other YouTubers. I don't even contact the people who like me. We've seen all the drama in the griftosphere. Apparently Az is a sex pest and they yeeted Nina from the group. No. I haven't kept up with it that closely. I don't know. I just knew when they went against me that they can't be fighting for fighting for good. I know this is kind of a gay way of putting it, but I guess, you know, I can't trust anybody who's against me because I'm like the most honest dude. Even if people disagree with like 80% of my takes, if you're actively against me, then you're probably one of the bad guys. Because I basically only care about video games being good again. That's like my main concern. Now, granted, almost none of those guys even really care about video games, so, you know, it's not that much crossover. And I don't know. What would I do if I did a DNA test and it found out I was Jewish? I guess I would start saying I'm Jewish in videos to save my ass or something. Show proof and be like, look, I'm Jewish. YouTube is anti-Semitic for shadow banning me. Kobe Gold sign with another game review. Unless my mother is, you aren't. It would be, if it was one of my parents, it would be my mother. But the chance of that is pretty like extremely low, considering she's a redhead with blue eyes. I don't think that's very Semitic. Though, like I said, the hair is her hair color is faded. She looks blonde, but she did have red hair when she was young. I take life more seriously anymore with all the doomer knowledge. I've been like this since I was like 14. I mean, obviously I'm much more mature than I was at 14, and I'm less depressed than I was from like 14 to 24. But, dude, I've been a doomer for a very long time. For half my life, I guess. And I obviously could have been pulled out of it. I could have, but it just didn't happen that way. I don't want to be known as that guy who blames his parents for everything, but, I mean, I don't know. If you saw my childhood, you would understand. You would understand. You might not agree. You might say it's still my responsibility, but I guarantee you would understand. Trust me. Working out is not going to solve deep emotional scarring and the inability to talk to half of the population. And I don't want to talk to anybody, really.
Literally me.
Your parents' and school experiences shape a large portion of your life. It takes an especially strong will to not give up if both are bad. Yeah, and I'm not going to say that I ever had a very strong will. Why do you think I have so many, like, addictions, if you want to call it that? I definitely have an addictive personality. Anything that gives the dopamine rush. Black pill is a true phenomenon, but also functions as a psyop to demoralize modern men and emasculate us. Well, I've always been demoralized, but I don't want to demoralize other people. That's the difference. I mean, it's like, this is my issue with normies. Again, you want to add to the list of reasons I hate normies? Let's go through another one, because I got many. Here's one. For some reason, neurotypical people, when they hear a depressed person talk about their problems, they hate it because it might make them feel sad. Someone is pouring their heart out to you, sharing their pain, and your natural instinct is to shun them or stab them. You know, metaphorically. That is, you want to tell me, like, people are good? That most people are morally righteous? That's fucking evil. That's just straight up fucking evil, because human beings are neutral, okay? I'm not going to say most people are evil, but most people do some amount of evil things. They do some amount of good things. That's one of the things that normal people do that's fucking evil. TS963, please describe your life situation to us. I guarantee you're a fucking loser like most people here. You're probably a bigger loser than most people here. I get all the people who say this gay self-improvement shit where it's like, oh, just Just chin up. Just move forward. Stop thinking about sad things in your life. You're a goddamn NPC. You have no original thoughts in your head.
Holy fucking based.
You know, when you're speaking to superior beings, watch your tone, okay? How about that? But seriously, there's always some fucking, like, worthless normie platitude, because I was shaming you for being a scumbag, and you couldn't handle it, because you are bad. You're a bad fucking person. How about that? Fuck you. You know, someone need to tell you that. I'll be the guy. Alright, I apologize if I overreacted slightly, but I've heard this all a million goddamn times. That's why I don't fucking like talking to people. Do I think that mental health being a common topic these days among normies is highly insulting to you, considering what you went through and how it was ignored then? I just think it's insulting when people see mental illness as a virtue, especially when they don't even have them. I mean, I'll admit, you know, a lot of women have some version of mental illness, but it's called hysteria, and it used to be a real diagnosis. All true. But, I don't know. I hate when people pretend they care about mental illness, and then they're like, incels are Nazi, Satan, not even Satan, because they love Satan. They're, they're the, you know, scum of the earth, chuddy, whatever. And it's like, incels are probably like one of the highest portions of like, you know, a type of mental illness you could probably find on the planet. And being ugly is like an illness, an unfixable illness, permanent debuff. Being blunt and direct ruined many of my relationships. I think it's the same with you. Friendships, yeah, to some degree. I'll admit, you know, being nice doesn't come naturally to me. I mean, I try to be polite enough to people who speak to me. But, I mean, like, if you're my buddy, I'm just gonna tell it to you straight, man. Being called an incel means you're rejected from the gene pool. That's what it's supposed to mean. It actually doesn't even, though. You know, women have changed it to just mean, man with opinion I don't like. You know, words don't mean anything anymore. Playing co-op games, how many people are truly evil? I mean, I don't know. I don't read into it that deeply when it comes to video games. People just don't really care, which is fine, I guess. Trying to improve yourself and normies hate you. They're just projecting their flaws because they probably have tried and failed, and if everyone fails, they don't feel as shit. You can definitely tell when people, not with me, because I'm not that jacked, but like my dad is, I've talked about this, my dad's a huge dude. Not tall, actually. He's 5'8", but he's like as wide as he is tall. He's like dwarf maxed. He's also kind of fat, but you know, 5'8", 225 pounds. He's a big dude. So you can tell when skinny dudes are trying to it's kind of pathetic. I've seen this like several times where dudes will try and talk up how badass they are around my dad, and it's like, god damn, that's cringe. That's like the cringiest fucking thing you could do. They, like, I don't know, man. That's a base modus operandus. Then everyone should be evil in co-op too. People have become worse in games. They give up more easily. Not sure if that's a testosterone drop. Yeah. I wouldn't be shocked if the drop in testosterone has reduced the amount of people trying to be competitive in multiplayer games. I think that instead of there being an opportunity to be incredible, like platitudes say, you can only just be barely adequate. Have you resigned yourself to mediocrity? I mean, I don't know. Mediocre might be a little harsh. Having, 100,000 subscriber YouTube channel, not many people have that. At least it makes an interesting conversation piece. Because, Mexicans may or may not have sabotaged this house when they built it. We have, people come fix it. We've had several times people come and fix shit. And a couple of guys have been like, oh, wow, that's your channel? That's cool. What do you talk about? And I'm like, I just complain about video games, dude. Don't watch it. That's what I tell them. That is actually exactly what I tell them. Because, with the type of shit I say, there's no way a normal person can handle that. Nice save. Well, yeah, I've gotten used to it, dude, because my parents, oh my god. I know they only mean the best in this. I'm not shitting on them, but both of my parents have told normal people to watch my stuff. Apparently, one of my dad's coworkers is like sort of treating him sideways or some shit because of my content. I'm sure because of some racist thing I said or something perceived as racist, yeah, my dad told me about it the other day. I'm like, Dad, why are you still telling people about my channel? Like, my shit is like extreme. You think like the coworkers at your freight company are ready to hear you know, about the shit we talk about here. I don't know. In his head, he's just like, you know, I'm supporting my son's business. This is cool. You know, it's like, I'm not going to do a martial art, dude. My gym is in my garage for a reason. My dad seems like a cool dude. He is a cool dude. Yeah, most people do like my dad because my dad is a nice guy. I've already said this before. My dad has some kind of weird curse where people will just approach him and talk to him, which is, I don't know, it's weird. I can tell you that that's never fucking happened to me in my life. Nobody's ever approached me and asked me or tried to talk to me about something. Shouldn't be considered extreme desire when you start. No, I meant about like the political stuff, Tiberian Fiend. I mean, come on, man. You know people don't talk about the shit I say. Was my brother verbally abusing my dad? My brother still has this mold sickness, and it's completely fucked with his head. I mean, you know, it's one of those things where, on the one hand, I obviously feel bad for him. I don't blame him. But on the other, you know, it just gets old. You know, he's had the disease for like 2 years now. Now, he's been taking medication that's supposed to kill the mold because... Fucking doctors, man. I fucking hate doctors, dude. We suspected it was mold, but this doctor he was seeing in Virginia just refused to do a mold test because he just thought, oh, no, it's not that. Couldn't be that. It's like, really? In these houses that get water damage, you don't think he could have been just breathing in mold shit, even though it started before. It actually started before we moved to Virginia, which is why me and my mom think that he got it when he was in Alaska. That seems pretty plausible. Because my brother was on a boat in Alaska counting fish, basically, for the government. I've explained this before, but it's very possible. He has some kind of... It probably runs in the family, but some kind of vulnerability to mold. Like me, I was having issues with it too in that Virginia house because I lived in the attic, and I wouldn't be shocked if the water damage, I was breathing in mold. Either that or I got it from him, but I don't think it's supposed to be contagious. Normal people just, their immune system, their stomach bacteria will kill the mold, but it's just, I guess, you know, it's just unlucky with genetics. Symptoms of the mold sickness, it's constant, terrible nausea. Like, he can't eat anything. If he eats, like, anything except for a select handful of foods, it fucks up his stomach completely. I had a minor version of this. I talked about this on stream at the other house, but basically at night your stomach would start boiling like acid. It was way worse when you ate carbs. It really, the mold just feeds off of bread and not so much rice, but bread and potatoes was the worst. If you ate bread or potatoes, your stomach, like, even if you took antacid, like, you would have to take like the strongest antacids to kill it. And so my brother ended up losing like 40 pounds because he couldn't eat, and he still got it. Again, this has been going on for like 2 years. Your stomach bacteria normally would kill off the mold as soon as you're not exposed to it anymore. But if you're breathing it in constantly, which I probably was, sleeping in the attic of that house, you know, then you can't really fight it off. Is there any cure? Yeah, he's taking meds that's supposed to be killing it right now. The problem is it takes anywhere from 3 to 9 months. He's been taking it for less than 2 because it just took that long to get a proper mold test. It was from a doctor in North Carolina, by the way. So yeah, Virginia doctors are fucking scumbag, giant hook-nosed subhumans or something. Yeah, it is serious, dude. I mean, it's made him about as depressed as I ever was in like my teenage years. I mean, when you can't fucking eat, man, that's just sad. I mean, he kind of got used to it eventually, but yeah, it's obviously fucked with his head. He's even more of a dick than ever. I mean, he hasn't been this much of a dickhead since he was like a teenager. Devin should start a YouTube channel. He won't do it. I think it's a pride thing, if you ask me. I just, me and him have just had our issues. I mean, mostly just normal brother stuff, but my brother has a big ego. He's very big on the Dunning-Kruger shit. I mean, I am sometimes too. There's a conversation we had about Spanish that I might bring up on one of these streams, but it's too late now. Between my bad diet, my terrible sleep, and, you know, occasionally just inconsistency in working out, it's difficult to make progress after a certain point. I just make a lot of bad life choices. The gym has never been my number one priority because I'm a fucking YouTuber. That's what my priority is. I mean, to be fair, I don't take YouTube as seriously as I should, considering this is really just a once in a lifetime opportunity. But I don't know. Like I said, you know, I just YouTube, it definitely feels like one of those things where I don't think I would ever want to step away from the internet, at least as like a, whatever you want to call what I'm doing. I wanted to say e-celeb, but it's like, I don't know, it just sounds stupid no matter how you say it. Influencer, content creator, sure, we'll go with that. Content creator. Though I don't really consider streaming creating content, but I don't know, as a guy who reviews video games on the internet, I could easily see myself retiring from that, or at least creating fewer videos than I do. Yeah, I know. I'm going to bed in a second. I know. I'm just rambling. I need to go to sleep. Yeah, I'm just double checking chat. Yeah. All right. I'll see you guys. Rusty Cheese Knife, thanks $5. Ever watch van life videos on YouTube? Basically, house and rent are so expensive. People turn vans and cars into mobile hotel rooms to survive in today's economy. No, I haven't watched any of those videos, but I have heard of stuff like that before. Yeah, I mean, look. I'm not going to call out anybody, but as you guys know, I read the stream archive comments, and I was a little salty. About a few I read, but I think that's why you guys write them, because you know I read them. You know that if it was on a normal video, they would be dislike bombed into oblivion and would never see the light of day. But I will say, I do agree with the point that my parents could certainly be a lot worse, and I've never said my dad, like, I don't hate my dad or anything. I won't say he was the best dad in terms of, like, the purpose of what a father is supposed to do, but, like, I have a good relationship with my dad. But, yes, I could have had definitely a worse mother you could say of anything, though. I could have been born a starving child in Africa, right? But, look, I was salty about it, I'll be honest. The chat member knows who they are, who fucking wrote that shit, but let me just tell you that it's worse than you think it is. I don't need to share every fucking story on these streams. There's a reason I ended up a YouTuber who was a NEET for years, okay? You don't just end up that way for no reason. I would say modern society also was a huge component in that. Like, you know, less to do with my upbringing, at least my parents' involvement in my upbringing, and the environment and the type of people I was around, and generally just like society hating, you know, straight men in general. That obviously was a big component too. I'm just saying. Vesnia, thanks $5. It's a Gundam also pointed out race mixing being questionable in Fallout. I wonder if people will call him racist too. Did he really? God damn, that vindicates me then. But of course, I am the guy who gets attacked because I am la heckin' chud 4chaner or whatever. I mean, I'm not surprised by it anymore. It is still very annoying when it happens because it doesn't really happen that frequently. When I was earlier in my YouTube career, that type of stuff used to happen all the time because I was organically promoted in the algorithm. Now a lot of times I get into the algorithm because people are hate watching. Like, the Fallout show review is probably the most clear example of that. I guarantee you without, like, Reddit, Twitter, 4chan, Discord, without all of these, like, tourists promoting my videos, that wouldn't have made it past 150,000. It might have not even made it to 100,000. But it had so much external site viewership that it was pushed in the algorithm, and of course the normies in the algorithm also didn't like the video. So, but I did gain, I think, 2,000 subs. Maybe even more than that from the video, so that's not too bad. A lot of the shit you get is based off looks, black pill proven every time. Oh yeah, I mean, that's true, but you have to remember the people saying it are also ugly or average at best. Like, the funny thing is, looks comments don't really bother me that much unless it's something that's just blatantly true, like balding, you know. But that doesn't bother me either, because I know it's true. But when it's something about me being ugly, I'm just like, there's only two scenarios here. Either one, you're a man and don't know what makes a man attractive, which I've even had discussions with my own chat about that. I do understand, like, we'll just put it as, like, what phenotypically makes a man attractive to women. That's like a less gay way of saying it. Or option B, you're a woman, and women think 80% of men are ugly. Which people, again, no one's ever going to swallow that black pill, because that one's a little bit, that's a thick one. That one's not going to fit down your throat. Insert gay joke here. But the point is, that's a thick pill, dude. Yeah, BBP, big black pill. Yep. Mr. Krabs vitamin pill. That's a good throwback. It's a good throwback. Everyone is joking about my height. That is one of the more annoying ones, because I know it's not true. Like, the ones that are true annoy me less. But it's things like Sphere Hunter being my girlfriend, me being 5'5". What are the big memes that are just straight up lies that are spread in chat? Those are the two big ones. Those are probably the two that bother me the most. Those fucking piss me off. Synth buddy, make it too easy, lol. Yeah, I mean, I don't know, dude. I think it's more because of who it's coming from. Like, people, again, the tourists pop in sometimes and they hear how volatile. Like, I'm just a dick to chat sometimes. It's obvious, but it's earned. It's earned. You guys deserve it, okay? You deserve it. We're not gonna have Doomer Hour too long, but I did, I drank a bit, so we're just in yeah, you guys can see a fucking, oh my god, look at all the toys I have. I'm a closeted Redditor. I was this whole time. Anyway, Dineska, thanks 5 euros. As a black guy, I believe the scene in the Fallout TV show when the bomb explodes would have been better if the little girl was simply white. The thing is, as I've said, I even said it in my first Fallout review, that the original Fallout games definitely had, a bunch of different races in them. In the vault, even in the vault, there's like a bunch of black guys in it. It's just that we see this in so much media, and I know that it's propaganda. That's part of the problem. If I didn't know it was propaganda, I probably wouldn't say anything. But I know it's propaganda. I know. I don't need to get into a big toucan-related rant with this bill that's going through. But I know it is, for a fucking fact. The same way I know ESG is propaganda. That's what they want. Anything they're trying to push on us is bad, period. So, whatever, nah, I'm not even going to say what I was about to say. Never mind. Let's just say, whatever happens in real life, it happens. I'm not going to pretend I like all of it all the time. But the things in my head are worse than what happens. You know what I mean? Like, again, to not talk too deep into race stuff, especially since, I've been drinking. There's a difference between a hood N-word and a black man who went to college, got a degree, assimilated into society, talks normal. I mean, shit, you can just watch people on YouTube. Like, Carlos, he was kind of halfway, but David, my friend David was never like this. He was an Oreo, as we joked about all the time. He was not he didn't talk like the stupid ghetto accent that I do in the videos. He was just a normal person. That's why I say I am not racist by any reasonable definition, except one thing. You guys know what the thing is. But, again, I don't want to have the same conversations a million times. You guys know what my position is. So, the term grifter doesn't mean anything. If someone uses the term grifter, I just assume they're an idiot, unless it's someone on our team talking about people on our team who are supposed to be on our team. Then I assume they're correct. Usually then I assume they're correct. But if it's leftist saying grifter, I'm assuming they literally do not know what the word means. And unlike woke, there is a definition for grifter that they can fucking Google and see that they're wrong, but they're too dumb. YouTubers making essays dick riding on why Critical Drinker is not a grifter. I swear people have no self-critical thinking at all. He likes Fallout. Was it that one libertarian guy? I didn't watch the video, but I know he made a video defending right-wing people who are probably not grifters, including quartering. Which I feel like quartering, depending on your definition of grifter, probably is a grifter, but not like, I don't think he's controlled opposition. I just think he's in it for the money. He's deceiving in the sense that he's saying whatever he thinks will get him the most money, so that is a grifter. Ricker likes Fallout, Last of Us 2 TV show, God of War Ragnarok, Arcane, and a bunch of other woke shit. Yes. I didn't watch the Mentis Wave videos, so I don't know if he was brought up, but I feel like he is one of the ones I think of that gets accused as a grifter. You mentioned last stream about how often you think about being single, but how would you go about finding a decent chick with what the average modern woman is like? Yeah. That almost sounds like a rhetorical question. I don't really have an answer for that. I don't know. I don't know. Church? I don't know. I've heard things, and the church my mom goes to is kind of questionable. I feel like the church my mother goes to, I almost certainly would not find a woman because the competition is too tough because veterans go there. So it's like me compared to them. Yeah, no, that's a bad plan. So I'd have to find a different church. No. I just find it funny how there isn't a single normal-looking YouTuber in the griftosphere. They're all subhumans physically. I think Drinker looks the most normal out of them, but yeah, I would say the rest of them definitely look off. You know, not to be like mean for no reason. They certainly look off. Catholic churches have a far higher proportion of eligible women with lower standards, especially if you choose one with a more Hispanic population. Do you have a single fact to back that up? I mean, I don't know. The Hispanic population one sounds plausible. The rest, no. No. You don't have a traditional job, and you don't want a geomax, so I've got no advice for you in the women department. Yeah, I know. I have... Trust me, I do understand the situation. I agree with exactly what you just said. Because usually, I've seen the stats, okay? Other than online dating, like, I think the second highest way that men meet women is through their job. Even though people always joke about you don't shit where you eat. Well, the stats say otherwise. And then the third highest was through friends. And unfortunately, I don't think anybody in Nick's Normie friend group like knows single women that I would be able to, they live in a different state anyway, so that's not even on the table. So online dating obviously is the answer. And you know what? I don't know. Maybe when it starts collapsing and women have to start fucking, lowering their standards. But even then, dude, I don't know, man. There's plenty of opinions I'm not going to share on here. But let's just say online dating disgusts me. Like, yeah, I mean, if you're very optimistic and... you know, you don't care how many partners a woman has had before you. All right, well, I just won't even say any names for that. But let me just say, I'm thinking of many insults for a person like that. Then it's fine. But yeah, no, fuck that. No. Mom doesn't have any friends that have daughters. It's funny you mentioned that. At the last place we lived, apparently... the neighbor behind us had 3 attractive daughters. According to my mom, I didn't see them, and, you know, women are not always the best judge of what makes a woman attractive to a man, but she said all 3 were single. I never met them, though. I only met the parents, like, once or twice. The dad acted kind of weird. So, I don't know. That nothing ever came of that. I never saw them. But, that was the only example. That's the only time something like that has happened that I can think of. Have I seen recent DBDR videos just slowly losing it, randomly shouting like Ogre Cell or laughing like Joker? Yeah, he might kill himself in the next year or two, which is sad to say, but yeah, I mean, yeah, I could see it. Have you thought about going to an anime or video game convention to meet girls with similar interests as yours? I've met some attractive chill girls at some of those. I'm very antisocial, so no. I have gotten offers back when I was a teenager to go to conventions. I just don't like people, dude. I don't like people, man. You should know that by now if you watch these. I mean, part of it, you know, for a long time was the social anxiety. But I think in general, I am just not comfortable around people, even when there is no anxiety. Because most of it's gone. I don't really feel it much anymore. Now it's more like, I feel like I'm in enemy territory now. It's a different vibe. It went from me being embarrassed about any weird shit I would do to now being like, any one of these people could freak the fuck out over just anything I say because I know that my beliefs are extremely abnormal and I just don't have a filter anymore. I don't like being around people. I have mostly negative experiences. Mostly negative. Maybe that's me just being a pessimist. Not very realistic. But it feels that way. At least for like the past 10 to 15 years. So I don't even count my childhood experiences so much. You know? If it's like from the age of 16 to 28, I've had neutral to negative experiences with people. Why the hell would I want to be around people? You know? Why? Like, it just doesn't make sense. Like, you know, it's just, again, the Matthew effect. I brought that up a few times. What about the Italian family you live close to? Might meet a decent woman, enter through them. Bro, I'm just too awkward. I'm too awkward. I think they do have daughters/granddaughters. The reason I say daughter/granddaughter is because it's the mother and grandmother live in the same house. So yes, there are women around my age, I think early 20s, but it's like, no. That seems like a recipe for disaster to me. That seems like a recipe for disaster, unless it was started on their end. Also, I told you guys this, you might have forgotten, but someone on their side, and my mom approved, tried to set me up with a fucking single mother. I don't generally get that upset at my mother anymore about a lot of things because I'm just so used to it. But that was the first time in a long time where I'm like, did you really think I was going to date a single mother? Me? Do you even know your son? Do you even know a single fucking thing about me? Do you listen to anything I tell you? Like, that was one of those times where I'm like, God damn, like, she doesn't listen to anything I say, like, at all. Oh. Yeah, I'm sure so, 4007, that is probably her logic. I don't fucking care, man. I've never cared about that, ever. That is the fucking most toucan, I almost said the word again. I don't want to be federally prosecuted. That is the most toucan propaganda bullshit. Get experience. Oh yeah, all of our ancestors got experience before they married a woman. No, that's not what they fucking did. Goddamn, learn some history, dude. And whatever, I know, modern sensibilities. We're not going to talk about the age thing. We'll assume all the women were 18. We'll just assume. To say the argument. Get experience. Yeah, just ruin all your fucking pair bonding. Whore yourself out to hundreds of people in your 20s. Yeah, that'll help you in a relationship later on. You fucking... sorry. I'm not... it's delusion. It's cope. That is cope for people hollowing out their soul in their early years. And no, you will never come back from it. There is no born-again Christian for that shit. You became a whore, man or woman. Doesn't really matter to me. I know men are more mentally designed for it, but there's limits. There's fucking limits. Would you trust a guy who slept with 100 women? I wouldn't, personally. It's fine if you would. Me, that's fucking disgusting. But, you know, I don't know. I'm not going to say every value that I was raised with is realistic or even true necessarily, but that's, you know, that my ethics are my ethics. I'm not fucking changing them because of some bullshit in modernity. So, no, Krusty Busty, I was not worse than DBDR. Pastor Synth at the pulpit. I mean, Arisaverse, you're correct, but that doesn't even really matter. Not to me, dude. It doesn't matter to me. I mean, I agree, but I don't think it's something to be proud of. Maybe if this is like, if I lean into the Coomer brain aspect, no, I wouldn't either. No, that's not even fucking true. I was gonna make a joke about, like, you impregnated all the women you slept with to spread your genes as far as possible, but no, creating more single mothers is not fucking based. That's just me. Again, that's just the Coomer brain. Just ignore it. I know the logical part of me is like, no, we are in modern society. This is not fucking Genghis Khan conquering other people and then breeding all their women. That's awesome, but this is not that. We don't live in that. That's just a fantasy, effectively. Okay, I'm not talking about that. Sounds like breeding fetish. Yeah, but that's probably one of the more logical fetishes. Like, that's, yeah, you know, yeah, that one makes sense. That one actually makes sense. What's the biggest cope you've heard this month or I don't know. That's biggest cope. Maybe, this is gonna be pretty doomer, but I would say the biggest cope I've heard maybe this year. No, there's two big ones that are both gaming related. The first one was the whole Gamergate 2 thing around Sweet Baby Inc. Almost nothing came of that. I mean, I feel like Gamergate 1 at least was this massive thing everyone on the internet was talking about. Whereas Gamergate 2 is like, you know, just whatever the flavor of the month or fad of the month drama that was happening. And I mean, month is an exaggeration. I feel like people were talking about it for like 2 weeks and then it just fizzled out, which is most trends these days. The second cope was that the video game layoffs that have been continually happening since the beginning of this year, I think they're up to like 8,000 layoffs across the industry. The cope that people think this is going to fix it. No, they were just trimming the fat, dude. Those were like the most useless jobs that they were doing for like DEI and stuff. That's not going to fix gaming. So those are the two biggest copes I've heard that, you know, at least are relevant to the channel. If I dug deeper, maybe I could think of something else, but I think that's a good answer. Isn't it weird how Amazon all of a sudden took a huge interest in a variety of nerd IPs? Because Amazon, again, the elites are not stupid. That's something that I definitely disagree with. If you've ever seen the channel Whatifalthist, it's a Zoomer who I guess started off years ago doing alternate history videos, but he's a Zoomer with a fascination history who decided to turn into like kind of almost a black pill channel, kinda, but it's more like just video essays about that are like doomer shit about the future. A few of the videos have gotten a lot of views, like in the hundreds of thousands. There's one that's over 1 million, but anyway, he talked about it. There's a video he talked about an incel uprising, which basically he said in the video it's not gonna be the incels to do it, it's gonna be the Chads. Well, I technically disagree on both fronts, but he asserts that the elites are stupid because historically, when pushed, the masses rebel every time. Well, the thing is, as I've said many times on here, he didn't account for the fact that our testosterone levels have sunk into the fucking toilet. And testosterone is like the most important chemical. It is legitimately, I, not even as a joke, have debated in my sci-fi novel making testosterone like the secret to all of civilization being built or something. You know, like that's going to be like one of the main plot points, in that they suppress testosterone because it is the chemical that makes men what they are, and that without it, you know, we are the golems, effectively, right? But anyway, but it's not just the testosterone, it's just the fact, it's also the fact that we have all these life is so comfortable, the quality of life, like we have all these distractions. From a realistic perspective, our lives actually aren't that great. This assertion that people say we live in the best time to be alive is kind of stupid and ridiculous. I think I would trade all this stupid gaming shit for a faithful wife and kids, but that's, you know, I mean, obviously in like a hypothetical deal with the devil situation, right? Like, okay, give up the games and all these other shit for the woman, but that wouldn't really be a deal with the devil, but whatever, you get the point anyway. So where's I going with this? Something about this alternate history guy. I don't know, he's a Zoomer, he's like 22 or something, but it's funny because in the video to try and like stop Redditors from like saying, oh, you're just a loser incel, blah 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 blah, he's like, actually I'm 6'4" and had multiple girlfriends, and also I'm not ugly, and he did show himself, and I'm like, okay, I mean, yeah, I'm with you. I mean, I agree that there are plenty of people who also realize there's something very wrong with the world, but I did find that was funny because that's not going to stop people from saying it. It was like I was saying when Think Before You Sleep was here. There's no point in debating leftists. They will not change their mind. They just see us as evil, period, which is ironic because I think they are, well, not necessarily evil, but they're the useful idiots who probably should be wiped out from the gene pool. Even if I don't think they're like evil, they are destroying society, maybe unintentionally. And why would you be merciful on people like that? I mean, their own team will kill them and is killing them. So why would you have any mercy? Anyway, whatever. I'm going Synthler mode again. What was my point? I don't know. This Zoomer fascinates me. I'll say that. I just wanted to talk about a YouTuber again, I guess, because I do find it funny that he made an incel uprising video and people actually like it. Like, it has like 1 million views or something. He looks 40. He does not look like a Zoomer. Zoomers are aging hard, some of them. Other ones look like femboy winks. Like, me and my brother went to pick up, I actually don't remember. We were picking up something, like a piece of furniture for my mom or something. I don't know why I can't remember. Alcohol, probably. But we were picking up a piece of furniture and we just saw two Zoomers. There's two Zoomers pass by us. And I think they were both taller, so they were probably like 6 feet. But like they just look gay, dude. They look fucking gay. I'm like, those are two homos walking by us. And they probably weren't even gay. But they were like metrosexual, like they used to say back in the day. I don't know why I even said this. Whatever, these are not stories. The story is, we were at the store and two gay Zoomers passed by us. What a story. That's good, dude. That's a good story. What was the point? I don't know. Oh, the point is, I was saying some Zoomers are aging hard because they're balding super hard, like I'm balding, but I'm older than a lot of these kids showing off their hairlines. But I'm also balding pretty bad for my age, as you know. But some of them look, pretty young. I guess that's it. That's all I was saying. I really need to end the stream at 3:30 a.m. I'm ending the stream. So any last thoughts? I'm 20, but depression and anger issues for more or less a decade have messed with my face. Hair is fine. Yeah, that can age you. But to be fair, I've been, I've had depression for a very long time, and I look pretty young, but I think a lot of that is genetics. Like, my dad looks probably like 15 years younger than he is. My dad is 59 and he looks like 45. It's crazy. Like, the amount of times people do not believe him. He literally pulls out his driver's license like, yeah, I'm 59 years old. It's crazy. So that maybe is good for me, because I'll at least look like, assuming I'm not super fucked up from all the chemicals and shit. And yes, my dad has been bald. I think he shaved his head by 28. My dad, I think the last time I asked him, he didn't really remember, but he definitely either shaved his head by my age or in the next year or two after. So I'm definitely balding about the same rate. Also, yes, I do have balding on my mom's side of the family too, for the guy who's like, well, actually it comes from your mom's side of the family. Also, a bunch of bald people on my mom's side of the family. So yes, it wasn't like a freak accident. Yes, the sun ages you. My dad, though, also has worked outside of a lot of his life, but he also works at nights. So, yeah. I don't know. My dad has more tan skin than I do. He's been out in the sun definitely more, even though he's been working nights a long time. He hasn't always worked nights. I'm the palest person. How do you explain the rise of body dysmorphia in men for the last couple of years? Body dysmorphia used to be only a woman thing before. Instagram. It's the same thing for men and women. You could also say that gender dysphoria is a type of, also has body dysmorphia elements too. We'll just keep that a separate subject. We'll just say, in terms of, the problem is people have been lied to so many times about what's achievable natty, and I hate to say it, but I think natural hypertrophy also does, but I think that's just because he's an optimist and he believes that humans are capable of doing anything. No. A lot of people have bad genetics, and their natural muscle building potential is not great. I also think, like, the thing is too, and there's a little bit of cope to this, but a lot of people can be very strong and just not look it, and then other people have really good bodybuilding genetics and are not that strong. So that doesn't help. I think a lot of people would rather look strong than be strong. Some the other way. But if you're gonna be strong, you should look like you're strong, right? If you look strong by getting strong, you would be surprised. You would be surprised. As someone who used to browse fit a lot, I've seen, some people who deadlift 600 pounds who don't look like half as big as they should. Some people just have really crazy, like, tendon strength and just general, like, muscle strength. That in itself is like a genetic trait, while other people have better hypertrophy genetics. Like, there's a lot of bodybuilders that don't have impressive numbers. I mean, sometimes you get your Ronnie Coleman's, where Ronnie Coleman was super strong and super big, but I'd say a lot of bodybuilders are not nearly as strong as power lifters, and yet the bodybuilders have bigger muscles. So that should just kind of tell you something, that there is a science to these things. A lot of bro science is just correct. It's just that nobody has put the funding in to actually research things properly. There's a lot of conventional wisdom that there's a reason why it's survived so long, because it is correct, even if the science gods haven't proven it. You know what I mean? So you're reminding me that I used to be a lot more into the fitness stuff. I don't listen to that shit much anymore, because I don't know. I'm mostly been concerned with YouTube related things for the past year, at least, where I think I need to take a bit of a step back from the YouTube shit. Not in terms of making less content, but in terms of better balancing out my daily schedule so that I can release the same amount of content and be able to do the other things that I want to do. Yeah, I don't know. I gotta figure it out. That's all I'm saying. Alright, I think we're about done here. Okay, yeah, I guess that's it. Alright, I'll see you guys.
Goodbye, my love.